I love this concept of timelines because when I have a psychic reading or with an intuitive, I'm always like, I feel like they're maybe intuiting like where I'm at, but that could change. The interpretation can change in 6 weeks from now if I expand my capacity and jump to a different timeline.
Like my inner psychic is so joyous about what you just said because yes to all of that. When I'm reading somebody, I am always reading usually in the highest form of their most greatest timeline for that moment.
Cool.
And because of free will and because energy can shift and because you have contracts with other people that could affect what's going on in everyone's life, you, them, all of it. Yeah, that can shift and change. And so with timelines, you have to marry up. Here's how I look at timelines because I'm just starting to really work with them deeper. I've realized that your most powerful and highest and truest authentic voice leads you to your truest timeline. And that if you always keep that with you, it really doesn't matter kind of how you navigate it otherwise or what comes your way. Your answer is always consistent in your energy. It's the same energy answer. I will meet this with my highest self. I will meet it in its best form. I will meet it with gratitude. I will acknowledge my anger. I'll acknowledge all the other things that maybe aren't serving me. I'll understand how to release or get deeper with it, whatever is being called to you. And to me, that's some of the most incredible and most productive work that I've experienced in the spiritual space and for myself. And that's why I write about it in the book, because I was just floored through meditation and through dream state, how my guides were showing me decisions that I made, if I didn't make them, that I would still be feeling the same thing I felt in that timeline.
Yes.
Insecure, competitive, people-pleasing, all of these things. And they were happy to highlight the difference and show you the difference. So you can always do that type of work with your guides. And I find it fascinating.
It's so fascinating.
Yeah, it's so cool.
I struggle with trying to crack the code on, I'm a big manifester. I know Gabby Bernstein's like the superstar in that regard.
She's the most badass manifester I've ever met. I always tease her about it because she's so good at it.
I know, it's amazing. And like, when do we know when to like let go of something that we are sure we want? Or perhaps it's like we've been working at this thing and it's not happening, so we're impatient. Like, how do we dance knowing that this is going to happen? Like, I'm in this big creative mode right now of this company and this next film project and everything. And of course, the timeline is not happening as fast as I want it to transpire. And also, I'm in this deep knowing and flow that like, oh, the investors are already here. They're aligned. The money is here. The projects are done. Like, I know that, but I also want to like, I want to be at the finish line already.
Of course.
You know?
Of course. And there's nothing wrong with that. First of all, a lot of green lights around that project, by the way. There's nothing wrong with being ambitious and having tenacity and wanting to succeed. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think we have to remember, though, to surrender over to that divine timing. That's where we get ourselves in trouble because we're just used to keeping a schedule. And if it doesn't happen in a certain amount of time, am I then not successful at it? Is it not going to happen? What I learned to do is set those manifestations and forget it. Here's my intention. Here's what I want. Here's what I see and feel to be true, by the way, because your guides are highlighting what you wrote up for. So it's coming from somewhere. And then go back to the now. What can I do in this moment to continue on to help this manifestation come into fruition? I trust that I'm being divinely protected and guided, and that's why I'm going to trust divine timing. And you could do it with an eye roll. I do. I'm never happy about it. You know, I'm like, fine, I'll wait. But there are some manifestations that I set into motion 5 and 6 years ago that are just now coming to fruition. And I have to say, I set them and forgot about it. I really, really did. And it wasn't until recently I said, oh, wow, there's a lot that's happening right now that I wrote down and felt the need to write down because I just felt like it was part of my story without ego, just felt true to me.
Amazing.
And here we are. So my advice, let go of the divine timing.
Yes.
And, let go of our timing and trust divine timing because it's probably the most freeing thing you could do for yourself. I
And
know, with a big sigh.
oh,
Yeah.
okay, Marianne.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, Another thing that's been top of mind and experience lately is knowing something is not right for me, or knowing that it's just a chapter or whatever, and like really knowing that, like, air quotes, rejection or not working out or failure or whatever is redirection and protection, and
Yes.
also like not being able to let go of the ego gripping of it.
You have to get to work with that.
Yeah.
Why is this still so important to me?
Hmm.
Why do I understand in all parts of my body that this no is correct, but I can't seem to get there? And I talk a lot about feeling competitive in my life and comparison syndrome and me comparing myself to other psychics, other people in my field, whatever, and always feeling like, gee, am I not good enough? Am I not getting there for a reason? I had to really go deep and understand, where did that start? And I talk about asking your guides who, what, where, when, how. Who gave this to me in the first place? How did it start? Why do I still feel that way? Whatever questions come to you. I started to get really curious about this because when we are repeating themes in our lives, those are contracts. We came here to work on it. So I started to choose to work on some of them. And that one was really something that bothered me. It was very good at giving over love to other people that I saw. I mean, it had nothing to do with them, but a lot to do with what I was carrying, and I wanted to let it go. And so I had to get to work on it. So it's a wonderful, if you look at it as an opportunity, you then can release it. And what's beautiful about that is that you then you place yourself in a space of accountability, and it's so freeing. It's
Hmm.
such a relief to say, oh, this is on me. Let me figure this out. And then you're not only are you understanding that, yes, rejection is protection and all those lovely things, but you're saying, oh, great. And I can have a whole new perspective on this. And now it just became really super productive. And I've learned this huge thing. And then I can teach that over. And then your projects become more enriched and all the things. And it, creates a wonderful domino effect.